Hey, welcome to March 26th and part 2 of the maintenance series. And I think I said at the end of part 1, I have no idea how many parts are going to be. And that vlog ended up being longer than I had planned it to be. Sorry about that. Next project is these here, my ceramic skulls. Got my large, and I got my small. And I got one up here on the table. And I got these some years ago from some friends over at one of the farmers markets that do ceramic. And what I ended up doing with some of them is I went and put puck lights in them. And then ran the wire out the back, and then when we use them in the hunt, have them hooked up to power, yeah, the insides actually light up and glow. And it had like a really neat effect. And I got various colors. My problem I'm getting into now, though, is some of them have been used so many times, the pigtails sticking out the back are getting really short. So I need to add an extension onto them. And I'm going to do that with all the skulls that have lights in them. There's a bunch in both tubs that don't have lights. I'm going to be adding lights to them and all too. That way we can just reach in and grab, not have to reach in and sort, figure out which ones have lights and which ones don't. So we're going to go through both tubs and get lights in them. Now, the first step I'm going to do in the project has to do with the wire there. I need to cut the wire down into 1 foot lengths. Those are going to be my extensions for the skulls I'll solder on to the ones that have lights in them. So I've got to get that done, which is my first step. Okay, we've made some progress of sorts. You will notice this tub, it's not quite empty. There's 4 or 5 left in there, all wrapped up in bubble wrap. Those do not have puck lights in them, as well as this one does not have puck lights in it either. But I've got 13 there that were in the crate that did already have puck lights, and I've added on a pigtail to it. Now that the pigtail's been added on, those are done. I did have one of the giant skulls that had a puck light in it, so I got pigtail on that. Now I'm going to turn my attention over to these that have never had a puck light in them. Puck lights, right there. Lots and lots of puck lights. Now, to do the puck light, they came with a round spout on them, or a hole in the base of the skull. Some of the skulls, the puck light fits right in. Other skulls, the puck light doesn't. So I will need to grind down the lip of the hole to accept the puck light going in. Also, on the back here, you'll notice the back of the skull is solid, to where these over here have a hole for the wire to come out. I am going to I'm going to drill the hole, figure out where I want it and drill it in. And what I'm using is a cement drill bit. These are not cement, they are ceramic. But the cement drill bit works great on it. You just need to be really careful with it, because these skulls will shatter if you get a little bit too aggressive when you're drilling or grinding. But so I'm going to go through what I have left in the crate and get these all prepped for doing the pucks. Then I will pick out the color of pucks out of my mess over there and solder an extension on them. And then we'll get them installed into these skulls. So we're working that way. I'm not going to get this finished today. No way am I going to get this finished today. It'll probably be done tomorrow. Hey, project done. That's the last one I did, and it's a little bright, but you can see the orange light coming out the eyes, nose, and mouth. That's because there's a puck light. Where is it? Right there, inside. That's causing all the light. Hold on a sec. Let me get the lights turned on. Oh, hey, here we go. A little bit closer look at it without the light on. It's because I got it disconnected. Now, on the little ones, I had 16 of them. I only had 2 that needed lights. Everything else had lights, but I did add a pigtail to lengthen all the power cords on all of them. On this one, I had, 14 of them on these large. And I had 3 that had been wired up. The rest had, so I had to put lights into all of them. And it is fun trying to get the pucks in and get the hole drilled. Drilling these is a little nerve-wracking because if you push too hard or in the wrong direction, they could chip or shatter. So you gotta be careful when you're doing it. Now, we're done with this. I gotta get these put away, and then we're gonna drag out the next project. And yes, there's a next project. There's a lot of next projects. Okay, no selfie stick again. Our next project is carriage lights. Okay, those 2 there I use out in the photo op. And they're working just fine. I don't have anything I need to do with them. This one I haven't used in a couple of years because the hot glue and stuff let loose and it started falling apart. And it's not in that good a shape. I'm going to see if I can get it put back together and working. If I can't, it's going to go in the trash. These 2 are a little bit more stable. I had these in with Bart, the butler, in last year's hunt. And I was noticing some of the lights were burned out. I have a light here, and a light up here. And only one of the lights was working on each of them. So I've got to take them apart, check the wiring, probably replace the pucks in them, and then put them back together. And this one here has a real short pigtail on, so I need a bigger pigtail. This one, the pigtail's fine. So I'm going to go through and take a look at those and see what I can do with them, whether it's going to be a finished project or a garbage project. I don't know. I'm going to have to wait and see, hopefully. Okie dokie, figure I better give you an update on what I'm doing here. I am working on these. I've got 2 of them. Excuse me, furball. With this one, as you can see, I've got it in pieces. I started out with 2 problems. One, I'll just put that down there. That was the lead. This part here, very short. It needed to be replaced, which forced me to have to take it apart in order to get into where all the wiring connections were, which were inside here. Also, this part here to where it joins onto here was extremely loose and needed to be tightened. I couldn't tighten it up with all the wires crammed down into there. So anyway, I ended up having to snip everything. I'm in the process now. I just got done wiring up 3 LEDs that are flickering green that go in this part here. And I've got to get them wired up and put in. And basically, it's a total wiring rejob on this. I'm hoping not to have to replace the puck light here. And I've got 3 more LEDs up in here, I think. I'm not going to take it apart because it's not broken. If it's not broken, don't fix it. But anyway, I'm going to have some wiring to do on this one before I can take it apart. And then that one actually has some lights burned out in it, I do believe. And I'll test it before I start taking it apart. I have a feeling I'm going to have to tighten up this section in here and replace whatever lights are in there that are burned out. So it's going to take a little bit. It's a one-day job. It's not all that hard. It's just keeping an eye on what wires are going to what places. Okay, there we go. One light restored to working function. I do have one problem I cannot fix right now. I forgot this one. You notice it has knobs up here to hold the lid on all four corners. I am missing one. I lost it last year when we were setting up. So I am going to have to replace that. I can do that at a later date, or I've got a real small bolt I can put on there. I might just do that and save a couple of bucks. But all in all, that one is now done. Now I'm going to take a look at this one over here and see what was wrong with that. I think this is the one that had the burned out lights. I'm going to have to replace them. But get it all put together and we are done, and we can move on to the next project. Well, we've got one project done today, and we're going to do a second project and have it done today too, because it's a quick, simple one. Professor McGonagall. This is one of the portraits that hangs in our witches display, and it is a light box. In other words, there's a strip of RGB light strips running around the inside of it, and lights up the picture. This last year we went to hook it up and it wasn't working. I'm pretty sure I know what the problem is. It's on, let's flip it over. Yeah, it's on the back side of it. The pigtail came off all the way when we were taking it down, you know, where you hook up power to it. So what I need to do is I need to pop the back off, take the old RGB light strip out, and then put a new one in and reassemble it. Real quick, easy. Probably won't take more than an hour, less than that. But that'll be the last project for the day. Well, there we go. New light strip. Up, in, and working. I took out the old one, and it's a matter of going around the edge here, and with a drop of hot glue every so often, and pressing the new one on. Now, the only thing I have left to do is get the back panel back on, which I'm going to do now, and I'll give you a look at it from the front side. And there we go. In fact, we'll turn off the overhead. That'll help a little bit, but not by much. But Professor McGonagall is back up and working. Now I can put this away. The first maintenance log, the last log I put up, went a little longer than I thought. So to prevent that, I am going to make this log a little shorter because I've been rambling a little bit more. We're going to do one more project for this one. And it will be starting, sorry, we got glare from the window there. If I go up like that, you really get. So I'll put it down like this. Well, maybe that won't work either. Oh well, see, I'm rambling again. But we're going to do one more project, and it might take a day or two to do it. There we go. I was trying to get the camera to flip, and it didn't want to flip and turned off on me. But the power station is going to be our next project, and we'll probably start that tomorrow or the day after. I've got a mess down here with puck lights and stuff all over the place. I need to get cleaned up first, and then we'll get started on that, and I'll go over what we're going to be doing with that when we get to it. Well, like I said at the end of the last segment, power station's next. And we have it up on the workbench and opened up. First step with this, before I go to trying to fix the bad switches I've got up here, is I've got to get in here and get it cleaned out. With all the foam carving and stuff, there's, for some reason, foam dust in here. All over the underside, all over the inside and the backside. So I gotta go through, vacuum it out, get it cleaned up, and that's a yearly chore. I always have to clean this every year. And I don't have any more foam carving I'll be doing down here, so might as well get it cleaned now while I'm working on it. Like I said, my first step is to go through and get it cleaned up. Then I've got, this is, this bank of wires here is the ones that control my lighting. This set controls all my boxes and, control boards and that sort of thing. And then I have my backup, 12 volt. I think what I'm going to do, I think I know what the problem is. And it's with these here. When we were taking this out, normally Sue Ann helps me take this out to the haunt because it is so unwieldy and everything. But with her health being the way it was last year, she just couldn't do it. So for the first time, Morgan gave me a hand with it. And she did a good job and stuff with it. Except she was having trouble keeping the box under control. So it got banged around a lot. And I'm thinking we might have lost some connections in here. So I have got to go through and track down all the wires and make sure they're connected, both on this set, and this set. This set does the emergency 12 volt, and then the bottom ones does the boards, and the lighting is there. So it's just a matter of going through and testing connections. And I might go ahead and check that one too. And I'm thinking, since it's such a wiring nightmare in there, it might be best just to go through and pop all the wires loose and then go through and reattach them all in order to get the connect, make sure all the connections are good. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to find a couple of bad wires in there. I'm not sure. I haven't gotten to that point. Right now I'm focused on cleaning, and we need to get cleaned up because there's a lot of dust in there. Well, initial testing's done. I don't need this on anymore, or at least not for the moment. Now while I'm filming, I went through and checked all my bus bars here, here, and here. And that did the wiring for here, here, and this one. That's all my 12 volt. All my connections here were fine. And all my connections over here were fine. No broken wires. I then went through and was looking at the connections here where it goes meets up with the hinge. Every so often these things, when you close the lid, will get in there and pinch. And that can break the wire. All my connections for those three circuits were good, except for over here. I had a red and a black that were up here, and they were getting pinched. So I went and rerouted them a little bit, and they're good. They're good now. I should actually track down the bad switches, their wires, and fix those wires. But for right now, I'm going to leave them be. But anyway, I went through each switch. This set, and this single row. That's all my 12 volt. And I went through and tested each one by hooking up a LED spot to each of the connections. So I went through and tested them. And I had some. And hold on here, let's see if I can do this one-handed. I've been doing it two-handed. But anyway, I did go through, and I do have some problems. You notice here and here, I have BL. Stands for bad light, and that means the LED has failed. The circuits still work, it's just that the LED does not come on. I'm not going to worry about that. As long as I have it marked, I know, it's not working. And then let's see, where was it? Oh, down here, 18. I've got a question mark by it. That is the only bad circuit that I've got. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That means there's probably a frayed wire in the bundling on the inside. So I left that be. Over here, I had number 6. The switch and the light both work. The socket doesn't in the back, so it could be a socket, it could be the wiring going down to that socket, what have you. but it is making connection up here for the light and the switch on. Again, I'm going to leave that alone. Again, here, BL, another bad light. 14 was a bad light. 16 was a bad light. And then we had number 15, question mark. Same thing as number 6. The switch works, the light works, but no power out the back. And then over here, I got number 3, and that was it. And number 3 is a BL, a bad light. That's all I've got. So effectively, I've got 1, 2, 3 bad circuits out of all this. Now on the lighting, I get down to about 16 on here with my lighting. Each switch controls a display. Over here, on the other hand, I'm close, if I remember right, I'm close to having this maxed out, this circuit out. So with the 2 bad sections on here, or iffy sections, I will have to move those over to here. You know, and I go that way. So, you know, it's just something to keep in mind on. You know, I know what the problems are. And it's basically bad wires on the inside or a bad switch. Now redoing the switches, pain in the ass, because I have to unbundle all the wiring in order to get the switch out, get the new switch in, and get it wired in. Almost the same thing with doing the jacks, you know, on the back. Helps if I flip the camera, you know, on the back of the box there. I know you didn't, so you just saw. But, you know, I have to take all the wiring loose in order to get it fixed. Do I have time? Yeah, I have time. I could do it now. But I don't want to. I can leave it be. Now, if I had more circuits dead, I would. But there's what? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 3 circuits out of 36 plus 7, whatever 36 plus 7 is. 36, 7, 8, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. How many fingers does RAM have to use? There's 43 circuits, 43 switches, and there's 3 wrong or bad. I'm fine. I'm good to go on that. Now on the 5 volt, which I am not going to check, I have 2 bad lights, and I know I have 1 or 2 circuits in there not working. My thing is, I'm down to 4 items that require 5 volt. Okay, I've got 21 circuits, so I'm not worried about that. If I run across one that's not working, I just move it to a different switch. I'm not worried about that. It was my thought in the long run, I'd have more 5 volt items in the haunt. And it's just, you know, we don't buy new items all that often. And, you know, so I just haven't picked up very many 5 volt items. And what 5 volt items we had, or have gone bad. You know, so I'm down to like 4. And I think the most we've ever had is 8 in there. You know, the talking curios over in the photo hall. One of them blew a speaker, you know, which is something else I can order a part for and fix if I wanted to. At least I think it's a speaker. Might be something else, I don't know. But anyway, so for now, I'm going to get cleaned up, put this away. And I was going to close the vlog out after this, but this went a lot quicker. I was figuring I was going to be on this for a day or 2. Not the case. It's been an hour or 2. About an hour and 45 minutes. But it's cleaned up, it's serviced, it's ready to go out in the haunt. Now I do have another small project I can do, and I think we might work on that. But I have to see where we get to after I get this put away. All right, one more thing on the power box I forgot about. I just got it done. It took a couple of seconds. Oop, blocking the camera, sorry about that. I went and put a hasp on it. That way when it's out in the haunt, I can lock it shut. That way if someone does get up where this is, they can't get inside and monkey with things. But the main reason was the lid. When we're transporting this up and out to the haunt, you know, it gets wonkied around a little bit and the lid likes to bounce pretty good. And that may be what caused the LEDs and the switches to fail up there. So I put the hasp on there, and then when we get ready to move, I'll just put a padlock on it or a bolt or something to keep it from coming open so we can transport it easier. But when it's out in the haunt, I can put a padlock on it to keep people out of it if I want. But this will help secure the lid so it can't be opened, you know, when it's closed. Then when I want to open it, I just flip it and up she goes. So now the power box is done. Okay, this vlog's almost done. Trying to keep it a little shorter than the last one. I've got 2 quickie projects I need to do, and then that's going to be it. The first one is this here, our donation box. I was noticing last year that the base is getting really, or the mounting bracket I should say, is getting really loose. So I basically need to get a wrench out, go in and tighten up the screws. And once the screws are tightened, this one will be done. And we can put it aside and get the next project out. Well, I did say it was quick and easy, and it was. A pair of pliers and a wrench. And now it is nice and steady. So this one's done. Took all of 5 minutes, if that. So I'm going to get this put away. We'll drag out the next prop, which will be the last prop for this vlog. Okay, our next project are these, my little skull pillars. I have that giant skull that sits right in between them in the photo op. And with these, I got these. These were a donation from a haunter that was closing down. And they're not in the best of shape. I was thinking about maybe redoing them at some point, maybe out of wood or out of foam. I hadn't decided. I might do wood. I don't know. But anyway, that is for another day and down the road. I have a set of RGB lights running down the center, so these light up. In fact, you can see the wooden dowel in there with the RGB lights wrapped around it. Those are working fine. My problem I'm having is with the skulls. The skulls have never wanted to stay on here, and the LEDs keep wanting to come out of the eyes. And I'm getting tired of fighting with them. So I am going to get in there and fix them. I need to replace the puck here, I think, and I think a couple of the LEDs up here are kind of burned out. So I'm going to go ahead and rewire this portion of it and then mount the skull more permanently up in the skull, mount the LEDs up in the eyes a little bit more permanently on both of them. It's going to take a little bit, but we will get it done, I hope. Okay, a little progress made on this. And sorry I'm not using the selfie stick, so you're getting a shot of my hand, my big ass hands. I've got the eyes installed on this one. And here we'll go down like that. And I got the puck. So it's going to be doing that out in the haunt. And it'll be a lot brighter when it's dark. What I ended up doing is I did 2 pigtails that has a puck and 2 red LEDs. I just got done installing the red LEDs on this one, and I drilled a hole originally in the skull to let the LEDs pass into from behind, and then hot glued them in. The puck down here, on the other hand, when I go to install this, will be glued to the wood plate, hot glued. So I got to do that, and then we're going to mount the, I'm going to try permanently, well, not permanently, but better mounting on the skull. The skull on the bottom has 2 holes, one at the back of the jaw on each side. and they slide over these metal teats. But the skull doesn't like staying on. It likes to come off. So I think what I'm going to do is I slide it on. I'm going to goop up each teat with some hot glue and then smash the skull down, hold it in a little bit, and then hopefully the hot glue will hold it down into place. Hoping. But we will see. And I'll give you a look at this one once it's all together. Well, there we go. Assembled. That's just one. I have another one down there I need to do the same thing to. But it's back together. I had Sue Ann down here discussing what color of puck, the light that we're using to light up the skull in there to do. And we were talking, if I can get some money, extra money, for doing a new prop, I'm thinking about redoing this. I like the skull on top, but the pillar is falling apart. I'm thinking of redoing it with some colored lights and what have you out of wood. So, problem is buying the wood to do 2 pillars. But anyway, that is a project for down the road. I've got a lot to do still. As far as the maintenance and everything else, I ain't going to have the funds for it this year. But we got that done. Flip it around, and we'll get one light on. There we go. Now you can see my ugly mug. My bearded ugly mug. I'm going to call this to a close. That way the video doesn't get, or the vlog doesn't get too long. There will be another one. I guarantee you that. Probably a week to 2 weeks. Some of these projects, the ones I've been doing, like in this video, have been real quick. You know, I do have a couple that are going to take a couple of days. Now, as to my list I made when I turned down the haunt, I had 30 different items on that list to be repaired. So far, we've gotten 13 done between this vlog and the last vlog, and I'm counting the partition vlog and the pirate skin as well on there. So we've gotten quite a bit done. It is going to take a little longer, so to get everything done. But with that, I'm going to say stay spooky, stay toxic.